Welcome to part 2 of our Rumen Efficiency series. I'm Caitlin DeVos, Ruminant Development Manager at Vitamins National, and joining me today is Marine Gauthier, Ruminant Technical Development Manager from Lalaman Animal Nutrition, Spain. Marine, globally producers are facing skyrocketing prices of feed ingredients. Compared to 2020, the cost of feed ingredients increased by 20 up to 30%, and what we've seen is this trend for these increased costs to continue. Of course, producers have also had to face high input costs, for example, the price of fertilizer, and then we've had the challenge of high crude oil prices, so really very challenging times. In your opinion, what can dairy farmers and feedlot farmers do to try and improve income over feed costs during these challenging times?
Well, ruminants are very unique ability actually to degrade the fiber. So it means that compared to some monogastric system, they depend less on the concentrates because they are able to produce some fiber sources locally on the farms or at least at a lower cost than the concentrate. So thanks to the microorganisms that are living inside the rumen, their fermentation are actually producing VFAs that are actually 70% use of the energy to produce the milk. And it's by improving actually this fiber digestibility inside the rumen that we are really going to foster our income over feed cost. So you have to know that every point of NDF digestibility that we are going to increase is actually going to increase in the dairy farm 0.25 kilo per day in fat corrected milk.
All right, so clearly maximizing fiber digestion is crucial. What factors influence and could potentially impair fiber digestion in the rumen?
Well, actually, fiber degradation is depending on several things. So the anatomy of the fiber, for example, so it means the content in terms of pectin, amylocellulose, cellulose inside the fiber. So this can depend strongly on the species, but we have also, of course, the content in terms of lignin that is depending on the cross species, but also will depend on the maturity of the plant or if there was some stress during the culture, so it means if there was some dry season. So the composition of the diet will also impact my fiber degradation, the total fiber degradation of the diet. So it means that the particle size will also have an impact, the passage rate of the nutrient that is strongly dependent on this diet composition, and also, of course, all the activity of the microbiota and the profile of the microbiota that I have inside, if they are more towards fibrolytic population that are going to enhance fiber degradation or not. So of course, we have also some external factors that can impact on my rumen efficiency that will impair the fiber degradation. So for example, stress around the transition period, stress around heat stress will modify the microbiota balance and so the fiber degradation.
Lastly, what would be your key focus areas to maximize the utilization of fiber in order to offset these spiraling input costs that we are facing?
So to optimize fiber degradation, for example, in the grazing system, it's important to implement rotating grazing. It's also important to monitor the growth of the grass. It means the height. So we are sure to provide a very high quality forage for the grazing cattle. What is also important is to take into account that this grass doesn't have the same protein and the same energy along the full season. So it's something that we really need to take into account when we are formulating for these cows. Secondly, for farms that are using silage, of course, it's very important to have the best quality silage possible. So it passes through very good silage practices during harvesting also, but also the use potentially of some inoculants that can help you to actually maximize the energy from the fiber. So of course also good feeding management will ensure an optimal fiber degradation. So it means to provide enough space at the feed bank. It means also that we have to give the animal high quality for roughage diet. We need to give them a cooler meal. So if we are providing the animal silage. It needs to be of a very high quality and not hot silage, as we can find in some cases. And of course, the use of some feed additives can really help for this fiber degradation. So for example, we know that Levus LSE is a rumen-specific yeast that has been selected for its effect on the fiber degradation and can help to improve the NDF digestibility inside the diet.
Thank you, Maureen. I think that we can picture the rumen as an engine that, thanks to its unique microbiome, can turn fiber into meat and milk. Through proper management practices and nutrition, we can optimize the efficiency of this rumen, and in doing so, improve the functioning of this rumen engine and increase farm profits. Things are heating up. Join us soon for part 3 of our series, in which we will focus on the negative impact of heat stress on rumen function.